Live stream segment of For the People podcast. And this is a special segment because I got my brother, my boy. I promise y'all, like, this is the name. Like, if we end up doing our podcast together, Kyle, we got to call the podcast Political Dads. Because that's basically what I like.
I love it.
Like, that's all we got time for at this point. Because everything we do right now is basically, if we get to politics, it's only after we get to be done being dads. And we just trying to get through the day and navigate both of them. But I got my boy Kyle in the building with me. Before we even get started, make sure y'all go to his YouTube channel. It's in the link in the description below. His Twitter account is also in the link. Make sure you go follow him and subscribe to him and his podcast there. He does amazing work. And hopefully we're going to be doing a lot more of these every Wednesday going forward, because I was talking to him not even a couple of weeks ago. I was like, yo, man, bro, I love chatting up with you, dog. Like, it's very rare to get that connection with somebody who comes from a different walk of life, but y'all manage to end up at the same conclusions a lot of the time, and where we don't 100% disagree. I still love the conversations and the stuff that I get to take away from the things that we talk about, man. So I do have to apologize in advance, Kyle. If I'm a little irritated during this stream, if you hear me just pop the fuck off, the devil has been on 10 the last couple of days, as you have witnessed, I'm sure.
Yes. It's in many people, sadly. Oh.
Yeah. I'm going off about 6 hours of sleep, and the devil is on 10. So yeah, man. So if I get a little bit irritated at the state of the world, I'm gonna just need you to forgive me. But how are you doing, bro?
I'm doing fantastic. I literally didn't tell anybody until literally just I finally ate, but I just finished my first 3-day fast in like years and years and years. And feel pretty good. Sat down, ate some steak and shrimp with with my wife and daughter, and then wife wanted to walk on the treadmill for a little bit. So I danced with my daughter, listened to Purple Rain before I come on here. So I'm all kind of jazzed up right now. I'm happy.
Bro. Dad life, dog. Hey, okay, once again, we in sync. That's so weird, bro. 'Cause I've been doing intermittent fasting for like the last 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. Right on, man. Right on. Yeah. I mean, I used to fast all the time. I think the longest I ever went was, I think it was 130 hours. So I started.
Hours.
Yeah.
I thought you were about to say days, dog.
I started on a Sunday night and then broke the fast on a Saturday, like around like lunchtime, I want to say. So that was the longest I ever went. But, even like today, I'm like, I could still go. And like I said, I haven't done it in years, but I'm like, I actually feel pretty good. So I'm more of, I was going to go for 10 days, but I'm like, you know what? I just want to do it because I want to say I did it. So
yeah,
feel pretty good. And then, like I said, I'm kind of like all happy and in my feels right now. Cause like I said, my wife's sitting there recording me. I'm holding up my daughter, listening to Purple Rain, and it's just, life is good.
Right.
And band practice last night too went really well. So everything is, we're firing on all cylinders over here.
That's good, man. So the longest I've ever gone, by the way, is 48 hours. That was like, and it's funny that you said that you feel like you can still go, because they say after the first 3 days that it's usually like, well, shit, I ain't ate in 3 days. Like, ain't nothing about to change tomorrow. So your body automatically adapts. But fasting is very good for you people. If you haven't tried it, I definitely encourage it. It does require a level of discipline. But like, usually if you keep yourself occupied, like, I actually went through a period in my life where I would forget to eat because I was working so much. So fasting actually wasn't that hard for me back in the day. It was whenever I was like in the house all the time and not leaving, that's when it actually became the most difficult for me. So I switched to intermittent fasting because my wife be wanting to cook all the damn time and the food be smelling so damn good. But hey, bro, like I said, dad life, bro. Every time I actually take a break from working, it's like a mandatory like 30-minute dance break that I have to have with my son. My baby boy. Like, he's like waiting outside my door, like, oh, you done? You done? Yeah. Bet. He's learned how to grab the controller, go straight to YouTube. And he's like, I'm about to put on my jam. All right, I need you to pick me up. It's time to dance. So
I totally get it.
It's good. I'm glad that we get to actually, enjoy these moments in our life with our families, because unfortunately, I feel like this last week has been a reminder that there's a lot of the world that don't get that. There's a lot of the world that is not able to achieve the peace that they deserve, and it's principally because of our motherfucking president. I don't know how else to say that shit. Our president, everybody that he's hired, all his dick riders. Like, that's the only way I know how to put it at this point, because there's no logic or reasoning in any of this anymore, Kyle. From my perspective, I don't see any logic or reasoning in any of this, and it is actually it's almost depressing at times. I'm not gonna lie, seeing how many people cannot just have peace, bro. Like, imagine being able to wake up like every day, like, you know, you do. I don't get to do that. I live in Brazil, but you do at least, and know like at least my president isn't going to be overthrown by a foreign government.
Right. It's so crazy to me because I was listening to Dave Smith on, I think it was Theo Vaughn talk about this, and he put it in a very, very good way. If you would have heard Donald Trump on the 2024 campaign saying we're going to overthrow Venezuela, like nobody would have, like people would have cheered for it, but it would have been like a main focal point. Now, if they would have heard Kamala Harris say we're going to overthrow Venezuela, you know, all these same people that will not get off Trump's balls would have been all over saying, oh, no, we need to focus on America.
Absolutely.
But now all of a sudden, you know, now it's, oh, Monroe Doctrine, which is funny. All these people citing the Monroe Doctrine have never read it because literally pretty much says like European powers can't, they can't go into Latin America and militarily arm them. If we want to talk about Russia and them selling weapons to Venezuela, that's one conversation. But like everyone says China invests in their infrastructure and then they have a trade relationship. That's, you know, could you say that they have a big
But you know what's important to mention about both of those things, Kyle, is that whenever people are like, well, Russia is selling weapons to Venezuela, China is selling weapons to Venezuela. Both Russia and China and Iran are doing business with Venezuela as far as oil is concerned. Hey, question real quick. Did not the U.S. forbid Venezuela from doing business with the U.S., and that is what led them to have to diversify their clientele? That's literally, and because it's not just the U.S., those sanctions also were implemented by Western nations and NATO nations all over the world. So, like, they're working with the options they have. They literally created the circumstances that they found themselves in and that Venezuela found themselves in, and then they complain whenever Venezuela is forced to adapt and then does so.
Yeah, and then prosper. That's the worst part is that, like, in my mind, I'm looking at all this, and I see all these people just getting so gung-ho about it. I'm like, okay, well, like, America, from my perspective, has always been a Christian nation, right? Which is what makes it special and which is what makes it great.
Yeah, technically it was kind of founded on Christian principles.
Right. But like, for all these people that want to insist on this to now celebrate the bombing of a majorly Roman Catholic city, dropping a bomb on an apartment building and then kidnapping the president. Like, there were so many different ways to go about this. Like, hey, why don't we lift all the sanctions off Venezuela and say, hey, we're going to invest in your infrastructure instead of China, and you do business with us. We'll give you all sorts of contracts, preferred trading, you know, all this stuff. Rather than kidnapping the president. Yeah, compete with them, because like China is a competitor. They're not a military threat to the U.S. because they don't have power projection the same way the U.S. does, and they're not even interested in a military conflict with the U.S. So So why wouldn't we just compete and just outcompete China? I mean, once again, Venezuela is only what, like 1,500 miles away from the U.S. We could easily get in there and be friendly with them rather than overthrow them, because like now we're talking about, I know there was a joke about Trump saying making them like the 51st state, but now we're talking about like a military occupation. And I just don't know where all these people are like, oh my God, look at what a success. Okay, well, first of all, I would hope if the CIA was there and you had.
I'm gonna pause you. I'm gonna let you cook a little bit later, but I want to, because this broke today, and so we got to talk about this crazy video of an ICE officer in Venezuela shooting what appears to be an observer, like, and I'm floored. I'm floored because I don't know if you've gotten a chance. I know you just got off work, but we've been able to actually see the video from several different angles in regular motion, slow motion. And actually, the more you look at the angles, the worse it looks.
Okay.
Let's check it out. Like, and then we'll get into this in a second. Like, the whole reason these people are here in Minnesota, like this interaction, this altercation should have never took place.
Right.
So, really quick, y'all, if y'all haven't seen this yet, and if y'all got any kids in the room, anybody sensitive to violence, I would encourage y'all to just look away real quick. But yeah. So
get the fuck out of our neighborhood.
There's people on the road. Guy gets out of the truck. Two of them stay out the truck. Yeah. Unfortunately, she did not make it. She didn't make it because this cop literally just rang off shots as this woman was trying to get away. And matter of fact, really quick, I want to see if I can hear what he says. So he's like, get out the car. But in actuality, she doesn't have to get out the car. Like anybody who has ever been in any police, when you're dealing, because this would be a traffic violation. If there was like, if you would classify this interaction with anything, I don't know, would you qualify as a traffic?
Yeah, I've seen the videos and I saw the other angle. There's so much tragic here because like you have 4 people around there. Now, in my opinion, should you speed off when cops are there? Probably not, because you know that here in America, cops are basically allowed to do whatever they want. Yeah.
That's the
I mean,
true.
It's tragic, but
you can also make an argument that's exactly why she sped off.
Exactly. Right. So like there were so many different ways for the cops to handle that, and like you're gonna unload on this lady when like she's not a direct threat. So there's so many different ways, better ways to handle this.
She wasn't a direct threat. Like that's the thing that has killed me. And you see people, this is from libs of TikTok. Like I'm not a fan of Tim Walz, don't get it twisted, but the driver in Minneapolis swiped an ICE agent. The ICE agent, ladies and gentlemen, that was not involved in the conversation or altercation between her and the first cop. He showed up there as she was pulling off. Like that is indisputable.
Right.
He throw, and this is, by the way, this is indicative of just regular cop behavior. We see this all the time where another cop will come up out of nowhere. It's usually someone looking for trouble, right? Just like you've seen people who instigate fights in school. That shit doesn't change just because somebody puts a badge on. Right. It's unfortunate, but it's true. And so this cop showed up to instigate. And the first cop who actually initiated the interaction did not put his hand on his gun. The cop who came to instigate showed up. Think about how quick this man pulled out his gun, Kyle. This woman was already in the motion of leaving, and he was already out. Safety off, hand on trigger, bop, bop, bop.
Yeah, like I said, there's so many different ways to handle this. My only criticism reserved for the driver, and once again, this does not justify at all shooting her, is just, I don't know if I would speed off when you have cops in front of you, just because, like I said, you know how they are in the United States, and like, it may be an uphill battle, but it's better to live to see another day than to see an end like that. Where
I get that, but once again, the cop wasn't in front of her, so like you got so from that perspective,
the ICE officer, I apologize.
This is an automatic car. It's automatic, so like. You could put you could put your foot on the gas, and that's just gonna take a second, especially when everything's going so fast, for it to actually show her speeding off, which is actually what I believe what we saw, right? Because as the shots were ringing off, as the car got further away, you saw the velocity increase.
Right, so, and not only that, they probably made it a more unsafe situation by unloading on the lady. Like,
oh shit, I didn't even think about that, bro.
Yeah, I mean, if you kill somebody while they're operating a vehicle,
because what if that goes through the window?
What if that goes through the window? What if the person?
What if she hits somebody?
What if she hits somebody? What if she continues on the gas and she can't? She's dead or something like that. Which tragic, she is dead. But like, there's so many better ways to handle that. And like, aren't police supposed to be taught de-escalation?
That's what.
How do you de-escalate?
De-escalation. Yeah. Like I as a person who served in the military, because like we're taught, bro, in basic training, we are taught so many methods to de-escalate, because. Especially if you are not a grunt, right? Like if you're not infantry. The reason why is because they want to create the situation that has the least likelihood of shots firing off.
Correct.
Because not everybody's prepared for that shit. Even if you might be justified in doing it, we still want to create the opportunity to not arrive at that point. So, I know, I'm a believer that like somebody breaking a law, let's just say that person did break a law, which by the way, observing arrests is not only not breaking the law, but in some states it is explicitly protected by law. I have to look up to make sure in Minnesota, how does that work? But I know in a lot of states that is explicitly protected by law. But even if that person was breaking the law, that does not give the cop the right to break laws, to stop that individual. You have a higher responsibility to protect the law while engaging that individual, especially if your life is not under threat. There
Right,
was
because
nothing that woman was doing that threatened that cop's life.
you have a legal authority to be the more responsible person in that situation, because once again, you have the authority, and this is just granted by government, which doesn't really exist. It's just kind of something that we all agree exists, and then we all kind of comply with. A cop has an arbitrary authority over top of average citizens. So like I said, I think that bestows upon you more responsibility, and a little bit of judiciousness goes a far way. Like, you shouldn't be so trigger happy. And like I said, how many shots he fired into that lady? Like, what the hell's wrong with you? Yeah, why? For what?
Because they're trained to do that. There's that part. But they're also, I'm sure in that training at some point it is mentioned, but if your life is in danger.
Yeah.
Also, hey, you got this mace spray. Also, you got this what do they call it? I don't know the word in English. Taser. Thank you. Yeah. And usually the ones that can shoot. You got all these other things that you can use on your little utility belt,
right,
Mr. Batman. You don't have to go straight for the gun unless your life is in immediate danger,
right.
And unless there's a video of somewhere. Think about it. When people keep saying she turned to that cop. No, that cop came at her from an angle. There's other cars in front of her. She has another car to the right of her, and she's trying to turn out, and he's blocking her way. I don't know if y'all understand this, ladies and gentlemen. As a person who has had to deal with the law on more than one occasion, and also I've worked in the legal field, but I know that what they did is kidnapping. Did you know that, Kyle?
Oh, actually, no.
Blocking her in like that is kidnapping. It is technically kidnapping, yes. And she technically would have the right to defend herself. And yes, cops can be accused of kidnapping. In fact, a situation that happened to me when I got jumped by 6 cops in a Burger King because of cops that were called on somebody else. But I was the only black person there, so they're like, "Oh, gotta be him. Let's get him." Yeah. And they were actually there because 3 or 4 white girls got in a fight with these other girls. And they scooted once they saw the red and white siren, red and blue sirens. And I was on my phone because I didn't think anything was gonna happen.
Yeah.
I'm here ordering fucking food. Bro. So they dislocated my shoulder, severed my rotator cuff. I ended up having to go to the hospital after they fucking fought me and they didn't want to take me. But they falsified a police warrant, or not a police warrant, a police report. And they actually put a cop by my bed or by my room 24/7 to make sure I couldn't leave, because they had to get the authority to falsify the police report because they knew they didn't actually have a reason for jumping me. So they kept the cop at my door to make sure that, to impede my ability to leave. That was kidnapping. Another cop, the last cop who showed up, who was like, "Why didn't you leave?" Straight the fuck up told me that, bro. He's like, "Why didn't you leave?" I was like, "Well, there's a cop outside of my damn room. What am I gonna do? Knock him down?" He's like, "Well, no, that's kidnapping. And you should definitely sue them." But the hospital erased all the records. So yeah, that's kidnapping, dog. You can't block somebody in if they're not doing something illegal.
Right. Well, and the thing always is, get a warrant. Like, why are you stopping this person? If they're breaking the law or something like that, then okay. But I mean, that doesn't give you the full-on right to kill somebody.
Yeah, we can't even say the person they didn't stop her. She was already stopped.
Right.
And we got to also address the reason that they're in Minnesota right now. Now, I feel like everybody has seen this weird vendetta Trump has gone on against Somalis. As he is bombing the shit out of their country, right? I think we've actually bombed Somalia more times in the last year than we've ever bombed them.
In any presidency beforehand.
There you go.
Yeah, if you follow Dave DeCamp on Twitter, who writes for antiwar.com, he runs a great podcast. He's been the one really doing the best coverage on this that I've seen. Yeah, yes. I think the first 4 days of the year, they bombed Somalia one time, or for the first 4 days, one time a day. So since Trump got inaugurated again, they've bombed Somalia. I think the total number is 132 times.
Bro,
in 1 year.
That is nuts.
Yeah, and under Trump,
bro, half the year almost.
Trump in 2019 had set the record for bombing Somalia at 65, I think it is. And then Obama and Biden throughout their presidencies, I think they may have bombed Somalia about 40 times each collectively. 1 year, not even a whole year that Trump's been in office, 132 times. And I'm against everyone's against the welfare fraud, right? But why are these people in Minnesota? You've destroyed their country.
Thank you. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you, Kyle.
I am the right wing. Yeah, I'm the right wing anti-immigration guy. But you can't have pro-war anti-immigration because you're creating the situation for people to leave. Like how this just isn't abundantly clear to people. I don't know. Like, what do you think is going to happen in Venezuela now? Like everyone's talking about these Venezuelans having to go home. You just destroyed their country now too.
It is nuts because Kyle, we gotta keep that talking point in perspective of Venezuela. You remember what happened in Florida, right? Whenever Trump sent a bunch of Venezuelans that were actually innocent as shit, but he called them gangbangers, sent them to El Salvador. El Salvador. Yeah. To a maximum security prison, like the El Salvadorian or the Salvadorian equivalent of Gitmo, and these people were innocent, and they were because they're immigrants and we think we think that they shouldn't be here and they committed crimes even though we don't have any record of it. They're traffickers, whatever. And so the immigration was a problem like 6 or 7 months ago. And instead of creating the circumstances to prevent it from happening again, you literally do the work. Like, I can't think of another situation. Like, we're in unprecedented territory right now with Venezuela. What we're seeing right now has never been done, guys. No. Never in any country. I can't think of circumstances more ripe to spark mass migration.
Right. And it's so incredible to see so many people defend this. And then literally like the day after, Christy Noem saying, all these Venezuelan refugees can apply for temporary protected status. And it was like, what do you mean? Like, this is ridiculous. I'm like, you just overthrew their country. I was arguing with one.
Hold on. Are you serious? There are people complaining about that?
Yeah. Oh, tons. I'm like, guys, you can't be you can't be serious. I argued with my co-host because he said, China and Russia are destabilizing the region. I'm like, we just stole their president. What, like China was buying oil and building their infrastructure. That's like the definition of stabilizing. We stole their president.
Yeah, I was going to ask, what was his explanation to suggest that they were destabilizing the region? Because I can't follow that logic.
I think the logic is, and I think this is just so ridiculous, saying they're investing in our hemisphere. And it's like, okay, well, like if you're using it that loosely, like once again, the Monroe Doctrine strictly states that European powers can't come over here and arm Venezuela. China was never doing that. China does once again, that's not the way China or Russia conduct foreign policy. They're not here trying to be a global empire. Their perspective largely is, hey, we're gonna be friends with these people. The joke always is that China goes in with a briefcase and the US goes in with bombs. If you have to pick between one of the two, I'd rather have the fucking briefcase.
I'm going with the briefcase, dog. Like shit. That and also it's important to remember. Like also like okay, so if China or Russia wanted to sell weapons to Venezuela, motherfucker, does Russia go out and seek to attack people who buy weapons from the United States just because they're adversaries?
No.
Do they claim that because the United States is selling weapons to, I don't know, France, Ukraine, but that's only because Ukraine uses those weapons to subsequently attack Russia. But other nations, even in the Middle East, like, does Russia attack a nation strictly because they heard and knew, oh man, you bought some weapons from the U.S.? And we know, like, it's a fact. The U.S., when they sell weapons to, especially to a country in the global South, generally speaking, they actually are trying to destabilize the region. They're selling those weapons with the intention of those weapons being used against somebody they don't like at that moment.
Right. And then to go to the China point as well, the U.S. literally sells weapons to pretty much AUKUS, right? Australia, UK, and the U.S. Literally a military alliance saying, hey, China, don't worry, our eyes are on you. So they're trying to get Japan to double their military budget. Actually, I think as of last year, they were supposed to double their military budget. $11 billion in weapon sales to Taiwan. Just last week, China put a huge blockade on Taiwan over this because that's their sovereign territory. How would the U.S. react if China just sent $11 billion worth of weapons to Hawaii? I mean, I know it's not like an apples to apples comparison, but what do you think they would blow Beijing off the map?
Bro, that's about as close as apples to apples as you can possibly get when you actually think about it. Because basically, I mean, what is the U.S. claiming? That China is trying to do to Taiwan what the U.S. actually did to Hawaii. I mean, that's basically that's the argument. Yeah. So, but you're 100% right. And this is my situation. Once again, like you have destabilized your country, bro. Like, I've seen the fraud stuff with Nick Shirley, and yeah, some of it is legitimate, but there have been actually evidence that's been put out by the daycares themselves showing videos of kids going in and out, and Nick Shirley purposely left it out. And it was like, then there was a question of like, when did you go? Because there's not going to be a lot of high traffic. And if it's the holidays.
Right. And then if you're saying, hey, I want my kid to be here, and you're walking up with guys with masks and a camera, it's kind of like, all right, where's the fucking kid?
Yeah, no, I would turn around. I'm like, nah, bro, today you staying at the house. Like, I know, I literally had a situation where Brazil, I heard that they were about to conduct an operation, right? The news had kind of like been talking about, oh, we see the cops preparing. I was like, nah, you staying to school today, bro. Or you staying at home today and tomorrow. Yeah. And guess what happened? There were kids that ended up being, my kid goes to a private school, but because the cops had blocked off the roads, there were kids that were basically stuck in fucking school, bro, in the middle of the day.
Oh.
Yeah, because I'm like, and I knew it was going to happen. I'm like, they don't give a shit. Like, they're literally announcing this operation that I know they've been planning for at least months right now. You think they give a shit about some kids being stuck in school?
Yeah.
Like,
imagine being the parent of that kid.
I'm paranoid.
Yeah, like, imagine being the parent of that kid and hearing, oh yeah, the cops just completely locked your kids in school. Like, I could not tell you the things I would do to make sure my daughter not only is okay, but just smiles. If you told me my daughter was blockaded in by police, the mayor's getting a call. And like, what are you doing?
It was a big, bro. It was a huge. I can't even explain. It's like one of the first times I've ever seen the news here openly criticize a police operation against any of the gang. Bro, it was like the governor caught hell, the mayor caught hell, like everybody, bro. It was like, dog, there were people walking home for 4 or 5 miles because they shut all the transportation down and didn't tell anybody. And everybody was sending everybody home for work early because there was no fucking traffic because nobody was going to the stores because everybody was just stuck in traffic, dog. Yeah, it was nuts. But like any situation like that, sketchy, suspect, as a parent, man, I'm about to turn my ass around. What the hell? I don't know what's going on here, but I ain't about to be this white boy. I don't know. Well, all the shit that's been going on for the last year, bro. You see a white boy with some glasses and a mask pull up, Kyle. to a place where kids are at, Kyle.
Yeah.
Economic inequality between the wealthy and the poor is at an all-time high, Kyle. Niggas die. I mean, I don't know. People get shot in this situation.
Right. Well, and you know what? To another point about Donald Trump right now, the reason why I think he's flailing so hard is because, like, I think he realized that pretty much like boomers are keeping him afloat right now. And I've seen so much polling on this now, actually, that like the younger people largely don't care about this Venezuela stuff. Like, actually, I think it's majorities like oppose this. Even people who voted for Trump oppose this that are like under the age of like 50, because like this is like gay Avengers stuff, right? I threw out a tweet saying this is like a gay Jewish version of the Avengers because now we're putting Stephen Miller in charge. And then Mike Huckabee is saying this is great for Israel. Like all this stuff. And like everybody under 40 is like, okay, the average mortgage in the United States is like $2,400 a month. Houses are like $300,000.
Hold up, that's the average now?
Yeah, the average mortgage in the United States is $2,400 a month. Yeah.
Couldn't do it.
So,
that's crazy.
Okay, you're a 20-year-old dude. You just got out of college or something like that. Maybe you got out of trade school. If you got out of trade school, you have $50,000 in debt, which is a lot of fucking money to owe.
Hold up, trade school's $50,000 now?
Yeah, about when I went 10 years ago.
University.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay, but yeah, you go to university, now you're well into six figures, right? Yep. So you're a 20-year-old dude, $2,400 a month for mortgage. You have $800 car payment. For me to have healthcare, it's $700 a month for a wife and kid. How are you supposed to make it? Ooh. So then Trump says, he said, affordability is a hoax, and we're going to go regime change Venezuela. And all the guys my age and younger are just like, bro, we can't even have kids. Like, we can't afford this.
Thank you for reminding me why I moved to Brazil, Kyle. I appreciate that. That was a good, man. So like, I'm just as a healthcare, for example, y'all know we have a free healthcare system here. However, I also can buy private health insurance, and surprise, it actually doesn't impede the national healthcare system from doing its job. I can go to either one and choose when I want. And my for a family of 5. Ooh, that's
it feels weird to say. For me, it's weird to say 3.
But I'm feeling it. It is 5. I can confirm that it is 5. But I pay $200 a month. Like if it's like if the dollar is low, sometimes I pay less. Yeah, for a family of 5. And that's like, by the way, I don't go in and it's like, oh man, but you got deductible and there's co-payments. And no, it's like, I just get straight benefits from that shit, bro.
Okay, so
like my medicine's cheaper. My appointments are free. Surgery. Ain't no like, well, you got to pay bro, it's free, Kyle.
Yeah. So I know we talked about like how our old ladies kind of went through their pregnancies. My wife, after everything was said and done, we had to do non-stress tests and everything because my wife was considered high risk and you know, our daughter's good and everything, but like her pregnancy and all the appointments, I think total we owe about $6,000. And like that's actually really good for the United States.
Which is
like
insane.
Yes, $6,000. Now we're not gonna fucking pay it, but
yeah, nah, fuck that. I'll be telling everybody, I don't pay that goddamn medical debt, bro, because they usually just fucking you over. That number is fake. It's fallacious. It's fugazi. It is invented some like because that's why when you try to ask them how much it's gonna cost, we don't really know yet. We gotta talk to you. Bitch, you don't know the cost of the shit that you do every day. Imagine selling sugar every day or eggs every day in the store account. Somebody asks you just a general price range of the eggs. Yeah, I'm sorry, man. You gotta consult with the higher ups about the nigga. It's the same eggs from yesterday. What you mean?
Yeah, that chicken laid that yesterday, right? Yeah, I mean, and we kind of joke about this in the automotive field because I've been a tech for 15 years now, and it's like, okay, well, why is it that like doctors can say, oh yeah, we don't know what it's going to cost, but like for us, if we're like $100 off, like the whole world ends. Like if we can't give you an exact price,
your car more important than your healthcare.
If I can't tell you an exact price for your 20-year-old piece of shit that is rusted through and through, I'm like the worst person in the world. But the doctors, like, they can get away with this shit. And then like 3 months later, you find out, oh yeah, I owe them another $300. Oh, and then another $1,000 even a month after that.
That's the shit that gets you. Whenever you thought like, okay, I got my first bill, so I'm good. And they just randomly got, bro, I had some shit show up in my mail after I left the U.S. I swear to God, I said, y'all want what? For what? I got TRICARE in the U.S. What are you talking about? Leave me alone. Y'all kiss my ass. I ain't paying shit. Like, and best believe, they later on, like 3 months later, after I decided not to pay, they reassessed the bill, and it was zero again. But I guarantee you that motherfucker would not have been reassessed if I had chosen to pay.
And you know just as well as I do, if they owe you something, oh, dude, they'll take their grand old sweet time. But as soon as you owe them something, they're knocking on your door.
Yup. That's exactly what it is, bro. Really quick, man. We gotta, speaking of Venezuela and a country that's literally getting sanctioned to death, but still got the ability to get people free healthcare. But meanwhile, the people that's trying to convince you that they're so concerned about the people of Venezuela, they got the energy to invest in attacking Venezuela, running a military operation in Venezuela, potentially running a military occupation in Venezuela is what it looks like. They're trying to convince you that they care about the Venezuelan people. And that's why they had to do this. Can't give your ass health care. I don't know how that works out. Worse, not even like, they can't even give you fair price on health care. Even if you didn't want to get that shit for free, you could give fair prices. Like Kyle, we should at least be able to know what the hell we gonna pay before we engage in the service, right? We can't even get that. But we got people like Lindsey Graham out here literally just announcing without any shame, bro. In Portuguese, we say sem vergonha, like without any shame whatsoever. Like, yeah, man, we run in Venezuela. I know we said we got this brutal dictator, and that's what our goal was, allegedly. But now we run the show. You are not going to have elections. And oh, by the way, if you try to challenge us, we will brutalize your ass. But that doesn't make us the brutal dictator, because we just got that guy. Let's check out this clip.
Who's in charge of Venezuela? Donald J. Trump. Now, people from the regime, the old regime, are helping us. We don't want to put a bunch of troops on the ground. So we got people from the old regime helping us rebuild the country to transition to democratic elections. There will be regime change in Venezuela through the ballot box. But who's in charge of Venezuela? Donald J. Trump. If you defy him, if you're one of the holdovers and you try to undercut him, what happened to Maduro is going to happen to you. Who's
God, I'm gonna let you hold that one for a second.
This stuff makes me so angry because, first of all, like the people who supported Trump this time around, a lot of this stuff was predictable, especially when he appointed Marco fucking Rubio. How did you not see this coming from a mile away? So like MAGA is so up in arms, like the better parts of MAGA, like your Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, are like, oh my God, Trump endorsed Lindsey Graham. Yeah, he's done that for years. And then literally he threw out a giant Truth Social post that Thomas Massey kind of chatted out over. And he said, oh, Thomas Massey's a true hater of Israel. And I'm like, bro, this is a foreign government. Why does it matter what an American congressman feels about a foreign government? And
committing genocide actively, by the way.
Right.
Like,
and then Lindsey Graham saying there's not going to be troops on the ground. Okay. How are you going to militarily change the country without having boots on the ground? Dulce Rodriguez says that as far as she's concerned, she still recognizes Maduro as, I can't believe I forgot that, but she still recognizes Maduro as the president of Venezuela. Okay, so are you going to go in there
Supreme Court? And Supreme Court did too, just to clarify.
Okay, yeah, so the entire government is still standing there. Are you seriously going to send troops into Venezuela and just slaughter all these people who are saying like, no, we're sticking to what our government that we voted in? And people are saying stuff about like the election results weren't legitimate. I don't know. And I don't care, because you know what? This is fucking Venezuela. Like, we're America. What are you doing for America? Because this isn't making America any better. Like, nobody sat there and said, wow, Venezuela just got overthrown. And I've seen a lot of other people make this point, and it bears repeating, that they're saying,
look at my savings account since Venezuela's overthrown, everybody.
We're going to get all this oil. Okay, we're still waiting to see the oil kickbacks from like Iraq. Right, so,
bro,
Iraq and Afghanistan.
Because from what I remember, everything has gone up and really has not gone. It's like been like a hover, and then it went really, really hot, and then it came back a little bit. Like that shit they like to do whenever they like pretend like, oh man, look at how cheap everything is now. It's like it ain't really that much cheaper. It's just not as high as it was. That's not the same thing. Because why do we still have that goddamn oil if we're gonna pay the same price from 7 years ago? Why did the people die? Why do we kill millions of people for us to pay the same price from 7 years ago? So, like, first of all, there's that. Second of all, he said we don't want to put troops on the ground. Motherfucker, y'all have troops on the ground.
Trump said he was going to do that.
He said he was going to do that.
Yeah.
First of all, he did do that. Like, y'all ran a whole goddamn special forces operation to kidnap Maduro. And y'all did that because y'all have boats all over their border. I know when people think of troops on the ground or boots on the ground, they think literally boots on ground. No, when you can launch military operations from vessels in the sea, that is troops on. That's boots on the ground.
Right.
That's like, because they wouldn't, if they had to launch that from the U.S., for example, that shit wouldn't have gone down like that, because there would have been plenty of air traffic and chatter, and intel would have been passed down to let them know what was going on. When you're that close in to the mainland, because that's the U.S. naval ships are damn near like they're bordering the mainland, the border. Like, it's radar isn't right to pick that shit up because everybody's flying low. So, and you're flying under the cover of dark on top of all that. So you already have troops on the ground. It's already happened. I know people who are there already. You're not gonna like, these motherfuckers are deployed for 6 months doing what? Yeah. Playing Uno and solitaire? No, like, come on, bro. Yeah. We know that. So there's that. Second of all, you said so Kyle, correct me if I'm wrong. I know I'm tired, so my logic might be off.
Hey, you're good,
but
man. You're good.
He said anyone who defies him will suffer the fate of Maduro. Not anyone who defies him by committing the crimes we allege Maduro of committing will then suffer the fate of Maduro. It's defy him, you will suffer the fate and the consequences that Maduro is facing without that important ass middle part that they use to justify abducting this man. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, and it's even crazier because they're starting to like drop some of these charges. Like, it really seems like they're probably just gonna let this lawsuit kind of fade away. Like, I can't overstate how incompetent this Trump administration really is, because it seems like every single time they get something serious, like a potential win for their side. Like, okay, so they want Maduro deposed because he's a communist dictator, which apparently the Venezuelan Communist Party doesn't even like Maduro. So what does that tell you? And if you ask anybody to find
part of it, yeah, that could be, I mean, that could be true, because there's a lot of party power grabs.
They dropped the whole Cartel of the Suns charge because guess what? The Cartel of the Suns doesn't exist. That's like some mid-level corrupt, military shit. He's
From
not running that
1990, by the way. That's an important part. Yeah.
30 years ago.
Oh, that was funded by the CIA. Yeah, that's also important.
Oh, yeah. Right. The same CIA that pretty much ran Trump's campaign in 2024 as well.
Exactly.
So
important note.
Yeah, and then they're also saying like, fentanyl comes from Venezuela, which just is obviously the biggest bullshit claim. And even JD Vance came out and he didn't straight up say it, but he pretty much said it. And like, when I read that tweet of him explaining it, I'm like, dude, I would never show my face in public again, because you now just admitted that pretty much the entire context of this war was a lie. And for the people who are saying it's not a war, if Maduro or let's say Xi Jinping had sent, the People's Liberation Army over here or whatever, to come steal the president, we would consider that an act of war. So when you firebomb a major city in a country and steal the president and drop a bomb on a fucking an apartment building, to me, that seems like an act of war. When you blockade an island, that's an act of war. When you apply sanctions on a country, that's an act of war. We are at war with Venezuela.
I don't know if you recall, but Trump called a no-fly zone.
No-fly zone,
2 months ago, and I literally said, "This motherfucker just declared war on Venezuela." And people were like, "Nah, you're being dramatic." They all like, "No, there's no situation." If I recall, in Libya, there was a no-fly zone called, and shortly after, fucking Gaddafi was killed. In Syria, there was a no-fly zone called, and even though we never called it a war, like troops were on the ground immediately after that. Because they have to. Because once you declare a no-fly zone, Kyle, what has to happen next?
You have to enforce it.
Exactly. Exactly. There's no way that you call a no-fly zone, and then there are not subsequently troops immediately put on the ground. That never fucking happens.
Right. Because how are you going to maintain it? And once again, that goes back to the earlier question. How are you going to maintain this regime change without having a lot of boots on the ground? And once again, do you think all these Venezuelans are exactly going to be stoked that you just stole their president and more than likely completely destabilized their country? They're probably not going to be that happy about it. So once again, now you're going to have to start fighting militants, because I guarantee you there's going to be some people. I mean, anybody who lives anywhere, everybody likes where they live, or else they would move. So like,
bro.
if you came into Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, right, into my small town here of Vandergrift, and told me that you were going to take over the town and militarily occupy it, I'm calling up all my friends who have way more guns than me. And don't worry, I got guns too. But like, and we're like, all right, no, you're not doing this. Like, this is our home. This is the way that people feel about their homes. So
even the opposition, bro. That's what people don't understand about this whole situation to me. There's a lot of telling things, a lot of telling characteristics of this coup that people aren't paying attention to. And this is I'm a big pattern recognition guy, and when something doesn't sit right, I got like this red flag, this red alarm that goes off. So like, you hear this word dictator. Okay. And you hear like everybody in Venezuela is supposedly supporting this, and there's people in the street supporting it, which is not true. But okay,
they're sharing videos from years ago,
or in other countries for that matter, or straight up AI videos. It's fucking bizarre. But they know what they're doing. Their job is to be propagandists. That's what they're doing. But okay, so if the opposition that supposedly helped to win this election, rightfully win, that's what they claim. If she is as popular and Maduro is not popular as the U.S. is claiming these two individuals are, why is it that Trump had to call an audible on the field whenever it was time for her to finally take her spot, her place in the spotlight? Yeah, it was because she's wildly fucking unpopular, guys. She has a 91% unfavorability rating amongst Venezuelans. Simultaneously, while this is happening, the opposition party is out in the street protesting this. Then you want to know how we know they don't support what the hell is going on right now? And also, which combats the dictatorship point, it's because of the peaceful transition of power from Maduro after he was kidnapped to the vice president.
Right.
Yeah. Kyle, think about it. This would be the perfect time for y'all to try to take control of the government, because you have the U.S. and the wind at your back.
But
right?
Right.
So how is this a dictatorship?
Right. And that's just a word that they use. It's just like every other word that's been thrown at every single other country. Trump even called Ukraine a genocide at one point. What was it? Bashar al-Assad is going to go genocidal. They throw these words out there, but then actually when Israel's committing a genocide live in 4K, oh, no. Well, Israel has the right to defend itself. Okay, so if Israel has the right to defend itself, then does Venezuela have the right to defend itself?
Absolutely. And honestly, I base my logic too when it comes to international politics. How would a superpower react?
Right.
How would I'd say yes. I even try to take out the United States when I'm considering this. Become like, the United States is full of fucking psychopaths. They will overreact every time if they're given the opportunity to. So cool. But how would Germany react? how would the UK react? How would France react? Especially France. That's a good one because they've had colonies and neocolonies in so many parts of the world. How would they react if Macron was kidnapped right now? The people might not even support it, but France is going to motherfucking war.
Right. Well, once again, it's because people have a sense of pride in where they come from, right? This is my country. You are not overthrowing our country. Like, that's unacceptable to us. And it's so crazy that Nick Shirley, Alex Jones, and all these, I call it like the podcast industrial complex that just like lives to churn out pro-Trump propaganda. Yeah. All they live to do is just to basically suck Trump's nuts and just constantly pump out pro-Trump propaganda. They're like
Andrew Tate, don't forget
Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate literally shared AI videos of people cheering in Venezuela. Like, if you looked in the background, the person looked like a stick figure waving their arms up in the air. And I'm like, people believe this shit? And then like other videos, oh yeah, this is from 2 years ago when the election happened. This is from a soccer game. And like, okay. And then even beyond that, why am I as an American supposed to care how these people feel in their country once it's been overthrown? What does that have to do with America? Like, how is this going to improve my life? Like, once again, if these people are happy that their government was overthrown, then like, okay, I'm happy, but they're not. Like, you can show me, a couple videos of some people celebrating, but
in Miami.
Yeah, right. But I think it was in 2020. I've heard Scott Horton talk about this, where there was like 50,000 people out there cheering for the coup back in 2019. But then it panned to another part, and there's hundreds of thousands of people there saying, no, you will not coup our leader. So once again, think about what the angle that they're showing you is. And like, I think you even noticed this on Twitter. That's true,
because even when they finally do get something that looks legit, it's like a super close-up in a pan. Right. Like, it's not like we're gonna do the wide out angle, which is usually what you see from like the Chavistas. Like, whenever it's those conservatives or the opposition party in Venezuela, it's usually a close up. So yeah. Also, oh man, you just brought up something that was really important a second ago.
The older people share the podcast industrial complex, people sharing videos, AI videos, stalker games.
Well, yeah. So there was the World Cup video that went around, and what's crazy is like how they don't even correct themselves.
No,
like that's what's nuts. Like, they don't even correct themselves. Oh, the thing you said about the genocide.
Oh yeah.
So we, ladies and gentlemen, we witnessed Bibi Netanyahu massacre hundreds of thousands. In just a couple of years, in a place that only has 200 or 2 million people, guys, right? And we don't actually know like the real numbers, because we still haven't gotten them. Because if you try to go get real numbers, there's a good chance you might die. Like, you have to be willing to go die to get fucking numbers, y'all, to get data. That is what it is out there. And he's our number one ally, Kyle. But Maduro was accused of these things, right? Because like a lot of shit that happens, they're like, well, we're gonna blame. Like, if somebody dies from malnutrition in Venezuela, they'll blame that on Maduro.
Right.
Like, because it's to further the imperialist agenda. Right. But they don't, once again, like you mentioned earlier, but they don't want to talk about the sanctions. The sanctions have no effect on anything. So it's like, oh, okay, but he didn't cause. He is working. He's trying to work. He's running uphill, and people are dying because like he's trying, but like it's a big ass country, and you're cutting them at the knees. Y'all are giving Bibi Netanyahu money to massacre kids.
Yep.
And not only y'all not trying to abduct him in the middle of the night, y'all are telling the world to accept it. No, excuse me, telling the world you better cheer the shit on, actually.
Right. You have to be a full-on Zionist. You cannot be anything less than a full-on Zionist, or else you're the most anti-Semitic, worst person in the world.
Bro, which like you can't even say like, hey man, should we not be killing kids? Whoa, you fucking anti-Semite.
Yeah, Miss Rachel, who runs a children's show, said, I just hope the children of Gaza survive. Anti-Semite of the year. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Like, if
that's
you
a trope now, Kyle.
It's almost a cartoon.
As kids should live.
Yeah, it's literally almost a cartoon at this point. Like, if you guys want to further anti-Semitism, this is like the greatest way imaginable to do it. Or like when Trump simply like puts a light hand of pressure. Like when he said, I won't allow them to annex the West Bank. People are like, oh my God, he's the worst person in the world. Like, you guys demand utter loyalty.
Bro, it's like, I won't allow them to like literally break more international laws. Shit, I'm allowing them to genocide motherfuckers. I gotta allow them to take the West Bank too? Like, damn, how much y'all want? Like, yeah, no, you can't let them, what? Well, since you're allowing us to genocide them, why are you gonna complain about this? Like, that's the lie, bro. If you give them an inch, they're gonna take a mile and then some. I want to switch gears real quick back to that fentanyl comment that you made. Because, bro, first of all, speaking of drugs, speaking of some white.
Yeah, you know, he's probably thinking like, all right, now that we got Maduro here, bro, I know a lot of that coke goes over to Europe. We need some of that shit here. What's up, man?
He look like he already ran through the shit, bro. He look like he already ran through it.
He always does.
Let's check out some comments from Ash Patel, Mr. The Epstein file. I'm gonna make my career releasing the Epstein files too. There's no proof that Epstein was guilty of anything that we accuse him of.
He killed himself. If we had the records, we would show you. At least that's what he said.
Yeah, right. If we had the records, we would show you. You think that I would hide stuff?
Me?
Yeah.
Mexico and South America and Central America and elsewhere to create and manufacture the fentanyl. And just look at what we did this past year under President Trump's leadership. We seized enough fentanyl to kill 175 million American citizens. That is an increase in fentanyl seizures by over 30%. That is what a coalition, a team-led effort by a decisive White House and President Trump looks like to counter narcotics, not just these great successful operations like what we saw this past weekend in Venezuela, but a continuing on.
So there's a couple of things I want to say about this. First of all, I want to be clear that he tried to make a false equivocation to fentanyl overall, the alleged fentanyl that they confiscated, and what they did with Maduro. So there's that. Secondly, 175 million people, Kyle. That fentanyl that they got, could it 107? You're trying to tell me that they got enough fentanyl in 2025, Kyle, to massacre the entirety of the United States?
I don't believe it. I'm just saying, they do this all the time. Like when you look at the negotiations with Russia, they're constantly looking to just pat themselves on the back for it, even though they're flailing at every single opportunity. So like Republicans have been so awful about this. So I actually started to look into this because I want to say it was 2021 or 2022. I remember all the Republicans were beating their chests about fentanyl coming to our country. It kills 320,000 people a year. Okay. I could not find any evidence of more than I think it was 175,000 people a year die from overdose deaths, period. That might be, I might be incorrect in that, but this was, I want to say the number I'm thinking of is from 2019. And they say
it went up a little bit during the pandemic.
Sure. Yeah. And like I said, I couldn't find a number more than 175,000. So you heard, I think it was Ron DeSantis saying like 300,000 people. Even Marjorie Taylor Greene at one point, who I have grown quite fond of recently, said like over 200,000 people. And they say, oh, it all comes from China, and China's sending fentanyl here to kill our Americans. They outlawed fentanyl trafficking in 2019. And like, okay, so if we're to accept the mainstream right-wing narrative on China, there's some authoritarian dictatorship. If they made it illegal back in May or April of 2019, don't you think they would have cracked down on it a lot? Like,
especially China. I mean, China is like, whenever they make some shit illegal, that shit gets cracked down on, right? I feel like there's plenty of evidence to support that.
Right. Yeah. And so they made that illegal, but like the precursors still come from China, but it's not like some government policy to kill Americans. Like this is ridiculous. And it's just straight up drug war propaganda.
I'm not all that convinced that a majority of this fentanyl killing Americans isn't from the States.
Exactly.
I'm not, because every single drug war we've ever seen, like it's always, the cause always coming from inside the house.
Right. And
even with crack, like they learn to cook that shit in the States. So
one of the other things about this too is that like the responsibility never goes on the user. Now, if you're a drug dealer and you're lacing yourself with fentanyl and selling it to people without telling them that, then yeah, you deserve to spend the rest of your life in prison. Like I feel no apologies about that if you're purposely trying to hurt people, but like,
which doesn't make any sense, by the way.
Right.
which makes it even more suspect. Because why would you be the dealer that kills your clientele for everybody to know not to buy from you?
Right. But once again, there's people, the responsibility is on the user at the end of the day, because people are looking for this stuff. It's tragic. One death is too many, but like it never goes back to like, okay, well, why are people demanding drugs? Because life is hard sometimes, and because the medical industrial complex gets people hooked on pain meds, or they go through surgeries, they give them these pain meds that aren't effective. So what happens? Oh, well, you get cut off, and then now, well, guess what? You have to go find a dealer. So
go to the street pharmacist, because the pharmacy don't want to give it to you.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, everything he says is 100% on point, man. And it's what's crazy about his comments. The propaganda for this operation has been absolutely insane, because Kyle, like you talked about earlier, there've been so many claims from the prosecution that have been dropped, but the fentanyl one is insane because it never made the goddamn list. It never made the indictment, and he just went on a rant about like basically making, once again, the false equivalency, the false equivocation that, oh yeah, Maduro arrested equals less fentanyl and more safe Americans. If that is the case, and he is so responsible for so much fentanyl being trafficked into the U.S., how did it fail to make the goddamn indictment, bro?
That's kind of a big detail. That is a very big detail.
Because you said it, so you don't put fentanyl in, and then you tell everybody, yeah, man, the gang that he supposedly used to traffic all this fentanyl doesn't fucking exist. So why are we here? Well, shit, we had to bypass Congress. If we wanted to do this operation, we had to label him as a what? As a
narco-terrorist. A narco-terrorist. Which, when I hear people using this word, I'm like, you guys never even heard of this word 6 months ago. This word literally came out of nowhere. Because Marco Rubio...
There was a dude who went on Twitter, on Twitter. He was a Venezuelan, but he doesn't live in Venezuela. And he was like, the first thing opened up with, my parents fled that narco-terrorist. They said, bitch, your parents fled something that was only invented 3 weeks ago? How the hell they fled this shit 15 years ago, and that was not a word. That was not a phrase. Nobody used that to describe anybody.
Nothing makes me angrier than immigrants who come to the U.S. and say, all right, well, we're going to use the taxpayer to overthrow our own country so we can go back. Like, no, fuck you. You don't get to do that. This is our country. You don't get to use our bravest young men and women that sign up for noble purposes, but they ultimately get taken advantage of. You don't get to use them to make your country great. Like, we should be protecting our own country, right? Like, we should be focused on our own defense. Not that we're under any kind of threat, but like, that's what we need a military for, is for defense of our own country, which, once again, not under any threat. So,
the idea that like we were actually being used to defend our own country, the military would actually be thriving, like with soldiers, because like the Americans at one point had so much to lose. Yeah. And it's like, well, shit, if we try and defend this shit, oh, I'm down. I'm down to defend everything I got, especially because we got more than everybody else. Now it's like, well, bitch, I ain't got shit. Y'all treat the military like shit, and y'all send us to kill other poor people that look like me. I don't want nothing to do with this shit.
All right. Comment said called him Narco Rubio. I do like that name a lot. That was Max Blumenthal was the first one I heard coin that. But like, this is what even tops the cake, especially from like the right wing perspective, where all these people tell me immigration is the only issue that matters, which I don't entirely agree. It's important, but it's not the only issue that matters. Okay, so this policy has largely been driven by Marco Rubio, who brother-in-law trafficked drugs, who led Cuba. Yes, Marco Rubio's brother-in-law did traffic drugs at one point. Swear to God, look it up. I mean, like a quick Google
I believe
search.
You 100%. Yeah. That makes all the sense in the world.
So he came here at 7 years old, fleeing Cuba, and now he's on this hell path to regime change all of Latin America. So guess what? So he could probably go back there. And it's like, okay, you literally came here as a 7-year-old, got into government, and now you're using the taxpayers to fill out your wet dream of cooing all these countries down south. Like, the American people never voted for you to do all of this on behalf of foreign governments and foreign people.
On behalf of your fucking parents. Like, because not even on behalf of foreign governments, because you have to think about it in the situation of Cuba, just to give you some perspective here. Yeah. You have to think, my guy, before Fidel Castro, which is the part that always gets left out of the conversation, it was totally segregated. That was how people like the parents of Marco Rubio, for example. Oh, by the way, if I'm not mistaken, Marco Rubio's dad was actually pro-Fidel. And so was Ted Cruz's dad, which is crazy. Yeah. Oh no. It's like, bro, that shit got exposed recently. Like it's like for both of them. So like, but either way, right? So if they were on the other side, the only reason that they would be able to prosper would be because a black person was being denied their rights. One of the reasons Fidel was able to get everybody to coalesce around him so quickly, because he's like, yeah, we're just gonna not have fucking segregation. And that was also a problem because now how can you make Fidel look bad while the U.S. is still segregating? We were still in segregation when Fidel desegregated. So now this is a whole goddamn thing. So it's like, what time are you actually trying to go back to, Marco? You feel me? So it's like for the few people for the few elites that benefited from that system, because when you compare the small population of Cubans in Miami and a little bit in LA and a little bit in Texas, like when you compare that population to fucking the entirety of Cuba, it's minuscule comparatively. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for it. So he's not trying to go to a town that benefits Cuba. He's going to a town that benefits his fucking family that were probably pieces of shit and work within a corrupt system that the empire forced upon the people after they liberated themselves from Spain.
Yeah, it's just, like I said, it's embarrassing because all these people are saying, oh, this is just, we have to vote for Trump. We have to vote Republican because they're the only ones good on immigration. But like, I don't know, man. Marco Rubio's doing all this stuff. Yeah.
Nobody is.
Right.
I'm sure you feel the same way for different reasons, but it's if you're pro-war, you can't be good. For example, something that everybody keeps forgetting to talk about, whenever they started this war with Ukraine, or against Russia rather, what was the first thing that happened, Kyle?
Tons of Ukrainians fled.
200,000. And they were white, so it was a little bit different story. Yeah. No one complained about it. And funny enough, even funnier in my opinion, the Republicans that got so much smoke for these fucking Somalis that have been here for 20 years. 20 years. Yeah, well, so much smoke for them.
I remember seeing people talk about the Afrikaners coming here. So the people from South America or South Africa, I apologize, that came to America. I'm like, they shouldn't be coming here either. Like, I'm sorry. Like, we need to fix America for Americans. Like,
oh God. That situation was worse. Because, like, hold up. What are y'all fleeing for? Because all the shit that y'all say is happening is not even happening. But, that's a whole different conversation.
Yeah, it's just so frustrating to see people kind of waffle all over the place and bend themselves in knots to defend everything that the Trump administration does. When it's like, I'm sorry, guys, like, he campaigned on no regime change wars. We're going to make America affordable again. We're going to end wars. And now we're like more involved in all the wars, even the wars that he said he was going to end. He's still celebrating, saying you got a ceasefire in Gaza, even though they've killed 500 people, I think, or like 430 or somewhere around there, since the alleged ceasefire went into place back in September. Lebanon's getting bombed daily by Israel, and they claim that they have a ceasefire there. The Ukraine war, they just had a meeting yesterday, which Witkoff said the security guarantees are going well. Russia will not go for security guarantees because that's literally
that's just not happening.
It's literally joining NATO and all but name only. So like,
it's like giving NATO the leeway to get involved when they fucking feel like it and use Ukraine to the extent they want to, and then leave them there whenever and leave them there screwed whenever they feel like it because there's no real obligation, right?
Right.
Yeah. Speaking of regime change, there was this candidate that I absolutely fucking regret supporting at this point, who is now the director of national intelligence, Kyle. And she loved talking about some goddamn regime change, bro. Like, she wouldn't actually shut up about it. And it used to piss off all of the Democrats and the Republicans, right? And then, out of nowhere, bro. And what's crazy is, it ain't like she started this before and has been saying this like, oh yeah, we're gonna ignore regime change by Trump. The whole administration. It was just a couple of months ago, Tulsi Gabbard was actually celebrating Trump, Kyle, for not engaging in more regime change wars. And I can't even tell you how many times, specifically regarding regime change, Tulsi specifically talked about Venezuela. So after the U.S. government kidnapped and abducted the president of Venezuela, everybody was kind of waiting for like, okay, yo, Tulsi, you gonna say something about this, man? Like, you ain't gotta hem him up. You ain't gotta hem him up, but we need some explanations, because the only way that the intelligence for this operation could be provided and cleared for operation of this fucking scale. Once again, this is not some random ass, snatch and grab, y'all. We're not grabbing some random terrorists on the FBI list that nobody's ever heard of, right? This is the president of a fucking country that has the largest oil reserves in the world. That is clicked up to the point where Cuba had already sent soldiers there, but we didn't even know until we got a fucking death list of 30 people, 30 soldiers, right? This was a major operation where that shit, there's a signature or there's a paper with her name on it somewhere, probably several.
Yeah.
To approve that operation. So can we get an explanation, please? Can we get that at least? No, she went quiet until yesterday, Kyle. And this is what she had to say. Let me pull it up for y'all. Yeah. Because, boy, that shit was disgusting. I couldn't believe. It was the effort. It was the effort to not say the word regime change, Kyle. She said, President Trump promised the American people he would secure our borders. I don't know how the fuck our borders got in Venezuela, but all right. Confront narco-terrorism, which is crazy because this motherfucker just, pardoned a narco-terrorist, but all right. Dangerous drug cartels that don't fucking exist. Drug traffickers, which Maduro isn't one. Okay, and kudos to our servicemen and women, intelligence operators, for their flawless execution of Trump's order to deliver on his promise through Operation Absolute Resolve. Kyle, bruh, she was like turning blue, trying not to say the word regime change in that tweet.
Right. Most shameless careerist politician I have ever seen in my life. There were people saying... You remember back in around June, I want to say it was in March originally, Tulsi Gabbard said, we have no evidence that Iran is building a nuclear weapon. Come June, silent. Trump drone strike. He bombed Iran. And if I remember correctly, killed thousands of people. Fucking bombed 3 nuclear facilities in Iran. And now, that situation just kind of kicked down the road for now. But she defended it.
I imagine giving the way things are going. Not for long.
no, not very long at all. But defended it. And people said, oh, she got loyalty tested. I don't want to have loyalty to someone that's going to fucking lie us into war, which is exactly what happened. And that's what's happening right now. And she has defended it both times because it furthered her career. Shameless.
She got loyalty tested. Yeah, we all know that.
Yeah.
That's the problem. She fucking failed the test, at least for us.
Yeah.
Your whole thing was, you can test me all you want to. I'm not going to change the way I move as a politician. It's like, nah, bitch, you change the way you move every single time the opportunity is presented to you.
Yep.
I'm like literally waiting for her to announce that she's going to register Democrat again after this administration, because she's just so appalled at everything she witnessed as an intelligence director, and she can't allow another Republican to be president again.
She made a whole career out of leaving the Democrat Party. She had that book. I'm pretty sure she did a book tour and everything. Do you remember that? She literally wrote a book about leaving the Democratic Party. I'm like, all right, this grift is old at this point. Like, just say you want to serve under Trump and that you're going to be loyal to him. Don't claim that you're against regime change. Just, hey, I'm a lackey for the Trump administration now. And that's my frustration.
For anybody who's paying, which is worse.
Yes, exactly. That's my problem with so many of these fucking podcasts. They claim to be objective and observe the news and be honest about it. But so many, Tim Pool, Hodge twins a lot of the time, Alex Jones, all of these guys are just complete and total suckers and just do nothing but parrot regime talking points.
Bro, this is just some of the tweets from Tulsi in 2019.
Yeah.
The United States needs to stay out of Venezuela. Let the Venezuelan people determine their future. We don't want other countries to choose our leaders, so we have to stop trying to choose theirs. Oh my God, bro, that is like...
We should really appoint her to national director of national intelligence. She sounds like she'd be really good at it.
Right? Whoever the fuck this is, we need to find her and put her in charge. It's about the oil again. Bolton just exposed real motive for intervention in Venezuela. We're in conversation with major American companies now, and it would make a difference if we could have American companies produce oil in Venezuela. I'm pretty sure what's crazy about this shit is I remember giving her some of these talking points. I'm pretty sure I did. Yeah, man. Because she was still trying to get a feel on Latin America, because her expertise were in Africa and Middle East when she was on the intelligence committee. So yeah, she said Trump is surrounded by neocon war hawks who supported regime change wars in Libya, Iraq, Syria, and now they're calling for overthrow the governments of Venezuela and Iran. Oh, goddamn, Kyle.
Oh wait, she literally said
Iran.
Iran.
Read these tweets.
Oh my!
She said
God.
Iran, bro. Like she said Venezuela and Iran.
Dude, it's literally like a Trump staffer went back and looked through her Twitter and said, "All right, you want to fuck with Tulsi? We're gonna fuck with Tulsi this year. Venezuela and Iran, we're on." And she shamelessly defends it.
This is nuts. That one was like, damn, bro. Like, Venezuela and Iran would be a horrible idea. So, like, what's going to happen if you get in power and you're the director of national intelligence and they try to use the intelligence that they supposedly gathered and using to justify the crime that they're committing? What's going to happen if you're I'm going to just shut the fuck up and support what he does like a good little puppy. Like, it is. What's crazy is how she won't go back and delete the tweets.
Yeah,
I mean, I know they're on the internet now. Like, you're fucked now, because you waited too long. I feel like
the internet's forever.
Like if you would have did this like 2 weeks ago, because you got the intelligence, girl. Just go back in when she was that moment that she dropped that video where she was celebrating Trump, right, for not committing regime change. She should have immediately went back and deleted all them shits, bro. Anything where she said regime change.
Yeah.
Scrub the internet. Y'all gonna have to work for that, bitch. If y'all want to get them tweets up, work for it. Find them. Y'all gonna have to pull out them old photos. Y'all look at y'all archives.
Regime change, never heard of her.
Exactly, bro. Because as far as I'm concerned, all them tweets is gone. I never even seen that Tulsi. I never met her. What? It's this, but like you said, bro, it's like they're cronies, they're lackeys. Like Alex Jones was anti-regime change the other day. Like the other day, bro. He was anti-globalist. Now, every time a globalist policy by Trump gets enacted or gets passed or comes to fruition, he somehow is like, well, let me explain to you how the globalists hate this. Let me explain how the globalists hate this. Huh?
Yeah. You want to hear a fucking take? I think the dude's at is oil-filled rando on Twitter. He said, the neocons are mad at Trump for Venezuela. I'm like, what fucking neocon is mad at Trump for Venezuela?
God,
I'm like, I've seen all the worst people in the world are celebrating this. And I try to never do this argument of like guilt by association, but like literally all the worst people in the world are celebrating this. So like I'm not saying you have to completely be a contrarian on every issue, but I'm saying if Bibi Netanyahu, Lindsey Graham, Jeb Bush are all celebrating a regime change war, you should at least stop and think like, hold up. Let's think about this a little bit more.
Oh, Hakeem Jeffries.
Yeah,
the Democrats are supporting your fucking war.
Yeah. Yeah. And okay, right? Well, back to Narco Rubio too. He got confirmed by every single member of the House. 100%. So why, like, there's all these people bending over backwards saying like, oh, Rubio's changed. No, he's not. He hasn't changed a bit. He's the worst member in the Trump administration right now.
Oh man, I'm gonna see if I can find this photo, because it's crazy that you brought up Rubio. And how we're talking about there's not really any difference between the two parties. But have you seen that photo recently taken of Rubio? Oh, I found it, bro. Dog. It is exactly the problem. Like, this is how you know we're gonna see more the same. Who was that with him? That's Schumer. That was taken like since the kidnapping happened. This picture is taken
every single time.
Are you kidding me, bro? They're on the same team. What is killing me watching the Republicans, bro, come out and be like, but the Democrats, like they're like the Democrats. Oh, if the liberals know that, but he was so bad because Biden put $25 million on his head. But when Biden put $25 million on his head, y'all were actually quiet about it. Y'all didn't know about that shit until you wanted to use it as a talking point. Right. To justify what Trump is doing. Because I was talking about the $25 million bounty. I was doing a deep dive into the elections, like explaining to people how I know and other people know, because I'm friends with some of the international observers for Venezuela. I'm friends with some of them. So like, there's a whole, that's why they have one of the most secure election systems in the world, confirmed by multiple countries. So Like this story about him not being legitimate president, then putting a bounty on his head, another special forces op or black ops op trying to take him out right after the election, and it failed miserably. Like this was all happening. The Republicans didn't give a shit.
Right.
They were, like you said, because if Kamala would have said she wanted to overthrow Venezuela, overthrow Maduro, they would have lost their shit.
Yeah, and like to this same point too, it's so funny to me that like, okay, well, why don't all you Republicans go lick Biden's balls over this stuff? Because like he maintained all the same Trump tariffs, he put the bounty on Maduro's head, all pretty much all the same foreign policy, but now all of a sudden that Trump's doing it, now it's like, oh, you celebrate. Like either it's all good or it's all bad.
This is good for America.
Yeah.
It's good for America. You know what's crazy? I might even entertain that argument, even though it's a fucking apathetic, diabolical, and psychopathic one. But like, okay, but it's not good for America.
Right.
That's the craziest shit. It's the like, hold up. That is the ultimate. You distilled all this down to this is great for America. We just did all this, and Trump goes on Truth Social and is celebrating because allegedly, even though no one has actually confirmed this except for Trump, they got a bunch of barrels of oil. And do you know what the amount of barrels of oil actually add up to when you do the math, Kyle? It is 2 fucking days worth of oil in the U.S., my guy. 2 days. And
That
he
checks
is
out.
doing victory. And people are tweeting out, America. 2 days worth of oil. You know how much money we have spent being in Venezuela from the time we put those boats in the damn region up into that goddamn operation, and God knows how much money we paid Israel to help fucking carry out the operation. That's a whole different conversation, right?
Yeah.
Like, and y'all always talk about 2 days of oil.
It's like the whole
tired.
you remember everybody was celebrating Trump for the $1,776 checks. Yeah, that was already in place. Like he came out and took credit for that. Like this is what he always does. Is these big optic wins, like the whole meeting with Putin and talking to him for 2 hours. When I think you and I covered this a couple months back, where it was literally like, yeah, he's gonna meet with Putin, and Putin's gonna be like, yeah, man, you know what? That's cool. Oh yeah, it's going good for you over there, man. I'm happy for you. All right. Anything else? All right. Well, I'm gonna go back home. And like we're gonna continue to clap Ukrainian cheeks because that's we don't care about you guys anymore. We just don't. Like it's a multipolar world now. You guys have to accept that. And if you want to bring a peace between Russia and Ukraine, first of all, you have to give them something to actually start with. And you can't basically let Ukraine join NATO without saying they're joining NATO. And like of all people, you would have thought Trump would have been able to figure that out, but no, because he campaigned on ending the war on day one. We're a year later, and like you said earlier, nobody ever stops and goes back and says like, oh, like that was bullshit. Nobody ever stopped and said like, wow, he really lied to us about this. Yeah, the fuck he did. And like people were so surprised. Like, and I kept tweeting out.
And he lied because I just gotta say that because people were like, well, no, it doesn't work out. No. He lied because if he told Republicans in Congress, stop sending weapons to Ukraine, Kyle, the war would be over.
Yep. Exactly.
The war would be over.
Right.
Period.
And then even worse yet, it's completely killed the right-wing opposition to the war in Ukraine. You don't hear anything about it anymore. Trump sent more weapons and intelligence and the minerals deal over to Ukraine, and there has been radio silence from all the people who are so critical of Biden for the Ukraine war. And they were right to be critical of Biden, but now it's radio silence under Trump when he's pursuing the same policy and put more sanctions on Russia. And then it's just how these people bend themselves.
And also attacking countries because of their business that they're doing with Russia. But he doesn't do that. He doesn't do that whenever a country is doing business with Ukraine.
Right. Another thing that we should probably talk about too is them seizing the Russian flagged oil tanker off of now I don't know the exact context of that. I heard that they just put a Russian flag up. I don't know if that is a Russian owned ship. You might know better than me, and if you do, please enlighten me. But
I saw actually someone confirm that allegedly there was conversation back and forth between Russia and the U.S. and Russia was like, don't fuck with that ship. It's ours.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and they just ignored it.
Yeah, well, now how stoked do you think Putin and Dmitriev or whoever else is going to be to talk to Putin or to talk to Trump and Rubio after they just did that? Like you guys are constantly shooting yourself in the foot. So people say Trump sincerely wanted the war to end. I think he just wanted something to campaign on, and it was a legitimately good campaign, promise. But like now we're a year in, and like I said, nobody's talking about it anymore. It's like this is still going on. Like Russians are being slaughtered, Ukrainians are being slaughtered. Like we want to stop to this. But
Yeah,
it doesn't seem like they have any interest in doing it.
Yeah, no, everything you said is 100% right, and it's like T right now. No, that was Russians, bro.
Okay.
That was Russians. Yeah, it's nuts watching this shit unfold because he just lied to his people's faces, and you would like for me, my guy. Like I was just explaining to you, I worked for Tulsi, bro. Like I'm pissed that you pretended to give a shit, and she never won. Imagine if she would have won with my vote and my time, my labor, my energy, my effort.
Yeah.
And then you turn around and be like, yeah, you remember all that shit I just said I was gonna do? I ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, psych.
Bro, I would be pissed. But instead, they double and triple down. And they not even work back from their conclusion, because the conclusion should have been like, oh no, he's not gonna carry out any more regime. You remember he called himself the peace president.
Yes. Plenty of times. They're still sharing pictures of him saying he's the peace president. Motherfucker, as we said earlier, 132 drone strikes in Somalia. And we don't have accurate death reports.
Yeah, we're never gonna get those. We're never getting out of Somalia. But it's like the double speak is insane. The gas is like what did Tulsi say? Trump promised he would protect our borders. Huh? So put the ships around the borders.
Blockade our own border. Well, and like the other thing that's amazing to me is that like there was a point where Trump said, oh, well, I'm going to talk with Russia and China and see if we could demilitarize. I'm like, oh, great. That's actually awesome. Like, it's a really good development. And then now guess what? Literally today, he says, oh, actually, we need a $1.5 trillion Pentagon budget. Motherfucker, for what? For what? And then you quadruple the ICE budget too, which, once again, everybody wanted mass deportations. You're not getting that. They quadrupled the ICE budget and then added to the Pentagon budget. Now they want to even fucking multiply it by 50%. And you're still not getting anything that you voted for. You got to put on
these grand shows, bro. You have to put on these big ass shows for the world to make it seem like that you were justified in quadrupling the budget and that you're actually doing something with the money. Like, we know that, like, but you know how that works. And I see it here in Brazil all the time where like they'll pass an inflated police budget and then they'll do a random operation, bro. I bullshit you not, dog. It's really how it goes. They'll do a random operation in the favelas, but they'll announce it beforehand in one favela. Okay, it's usually the same ones, and they'll live stream it as it is happening. I bullshit you not. So now all of
your
the
tax dollars,
especially the boss, especially the boss, knows what the fuck is going to happen and where they're going, bro. I swear to God, I'm like, y'all do know this is bullshit, right? They're like, what do you mean? I was in the barbershop. They're like, what do you mean? Like, we're watching a live stream of a covert police operation to supposedly take down the boss of the traffickers in this neighborhood. Yeah, right? Yeah. Covert. It's live streamed. We could pull up to where the cops are right the fuck now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how does that then impede the trafficker or the boss from running the fuck away from where they're at?
Right.
Oh, I never thought about that. I'm like, what?
It's literally, it would be the same thing as them being like, hey, here are your tax dollars. We're going to burn them live stream on Facebook just so you guys could see where your money's going.
Yeah. What they're doing with Somalia, like, because of so there's like the drama in Somalia is real, right? There's like this whole thing about Somaliland, which I'm sure a lot of you are focused on. The UAE is involved. We're ramping. We're like, that money is being used from the gold that's being sent to through the black market and spent through the black market to give money to UAE and also to give money to Israel, right? So like we need control of that gold, which also means we have to stabilize the region. And so to justify what you're doing, right, to create this apathy, it involves dehumanizing the people that you are trying to destabilize and bomb to death. So what do? You immediately start pointing fingers at people who have been living here for 15 to 20 years, and they were accepted and done so quietly in the dark because you knew what you were doing back then, and you didn't want people to revolt, so you gave them a place to stay and gave them a security blanket and told everybody to shut the fuck up and don't say nothing about it. That's why they're here, and they were here 15 years. And I'm sure they're like, yo, why are we in trouble? We just woke up and we said, hey man, like if anybody had the audacity to say something like, hey man, I don't really like the president bombing my home, my native homeland. You fucking immigrant, black bastard. How dare you, you ungrateful son bitch. Like, what? I'm sorry. I just feel like my grandparents should be able to live in peace. Like, they could die tomorrow, man. Yeah, but you just fucking ungrateful. I just can't believe you blacks. Go back home. Well, no, this is my home now because I've been here for 15 fucking years, and like basically English is my first language now because my home was bombed as a kid, so I don't really have a home to go back to.
Yeah, you destabilized our government with an Ethiopian coup, and now you've been bombing Mogadishu for fucking 25 years. Bro, come on.
It's insane, dog. I'm just like, I can't deal with it. Like, I'm like, if you don't, okay, to each his own. I can. There's some legitimate, pragmatic, economic reasons for why some people would be against immigration. I don't believe in the fear mongering stuff, but I believe that like the adjustment to jobs or your job industry could be huge for somebody, and it could be too huge for you to overcome while still living in your current community if the immigration becomes too concentrated in a certain area. I get that. Like, that's a real thing. I'm sure like there's some car body shops out in South LA and Southern California. When the Mexicans came in, it was over for them. It was over. It was MIA RIP, dog. Like, because what the fuck, bro? Because it's like there's a high concentration of them, and these motherfuckers is talented as shit, and they all live here, like in the same area. It's like that's a real thing, but that's not what's happening. Like, these people are getting fucking like. If you care about immigration so much, tell your fucking president to stop destroying other people's countries. You can't complain when those people come to your country and then cheer when your country bombs their country they're supposed to be living in. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, you can't expect people to stay. Like, what are they supposed to do? Oh, well, I guess I'm getting bombed on. I guess I'll just die then. Like, no, you just can't you can't do that. And like I said,
disgusting.
If we're supposed to be the moral arbiter of the world, and we're supposed to be, a shining city on the hill and like the, moral authority, then we can't just fucking go around killing civilians like that. Like, that is just period, point blank. A friend of mine had said on a stream that like there's only a few groups of people that celebrate when bombs are being dropped, and definitely one of those group is Israelis. And I'm sorry, I do believe Americans are better than Israelis because we shouldn't be celebrating dropping fucking bombs on apartment buildings. That is by
thank God.
every
Actually,
definition
let's just say
of war
too,
crime.
thank God. I believe that. I mean, Americans are, because once this shit with Gaza popped off, I ain't never seen so many people unite at once. I've never seen that shit. That's one of the reasons why I feel like some of this shit is going down the way it is. You had to create the division that was lacking because of the genocide that Israel's committing out or carrying out.
Right. And they had to crack down on all forms of quote unquote anti-Semitism. I had a boomer friend of mine arguing with me on Facebook, and I genuinely like this guy, but I asked him, like, he said something about like the US having sovereignty. I said, okay, we're still sending all this money to Ukraine, Taiwan, Israel, all over the world, and not in America. And he's like, oh, I respectfully disagree. I'm like, all right, well, I don't know. A sovereign country. Sovereign country.
I'm like, how do you disagree with the fact?
Right. A sovereign country wouldn't send money to another country to commit war crimes. And then I said, all right, well, next question then. Do you think it's right that Israel can censor Americans in 38 different states? Like, it is illegal to criticize Israel. And then he literally said, like, this 50-year-old plus boomer guy, right? So he laughs at all the people talking about their safe spaces and pronouns, right? I just don't know how these people square this in their head. He literally said, oh, well, this is against anti-BDS and anti-Semitic protests. I'm like, bro, if I said this was like, if I said the exact same thing you did, except for said like anti-trans bigotry or anti-racism or something, you would laugh at me all day. So,
100%.
Like,
it's even more ridiculous. Like, but you're trying to defend the guys that are like genociding, but also like not just genociding the Palestinian people, but like as an American, right? Just strictly from a selfish, egotistical, egocentric, self-important standpoint. Ladies and gentlemen, this country constantly makes decisions that lead to negative outcomes for Americans.
Right.
We fight their wars. We die in their wars. We come back with PTSD in their wars, and they go back and they kill their wives and their kids and commit fucking suicide because of wars that Israel started and we had to handle.
Right. And on top of that, they disrespect our president, right? He literally Bibi Netanyahu literally comes to America with dirty laundry for the fucking staffers to do. There's articles about this. Yeah, I'm surprised you don't know about that. Yeah, literally look up Bibi Netanyahu dirty laundry. There's multiple articles about this. And then, okay, so Trump says he will not allow Israel to annex the West Bank, which they pretty much have. They just haven't formalized it, right? JD Vance is in Israel, and he pretty much says the same thing. And then they hold a basic show vote in Israel that day and say, we're all saying, hey, we support annexing the West Bank. They bitch slap our president around, and he has him at his personal residence for New Year's, and then complains about one congressman because he's a quote-unquote true hater of Israel. I'm sorry, how can you talk about sovereignty when that is your president getting bent over day in, day out by the fucking prime minister of Israel, the guy who let his own people get killed? Yoav Gallant admitted that they used a Hannibal directive on October 7th. Murdered his own fucking people. And that's a guy bitch slapping Donald Trump.
Unnecessarily so. Like, they murder their own people. The Hannibal directive is actually supposed to be an emergency. Like, that's supposed to be an emergency. But it wasn't. You can't call something an emergency when you had 5 hours to respond to an attack. You can't call it an emergency when you knew about the attack in advance and refused to move the concert or the festival that was going on so you can ensure that the attack was carried out. Like, it's not an emergency. I don't know if you can call it a Hannibal directive. That's something else entirely. Like, you let them be killed and then you proceeded to murder them. Like, shit, man, we got it. Like, that is it. Oh, and that's not even including the hostages. Like, Palestine barely had any hostages to work with after a certain point because Israel's bombing the shit out of their own people. Like, there were mass, right now. I don't know if you know, there were mass protests yesterday in Israel.
No.
Like, okay, so what does Israel do in response to that, Kyle?
Oh, they killed the lawyer who's
oh yeah, there's that.
Yeah, he's running the trial against Benjamin Netanyahu, but
supposedly he's like he was on like one of the other like the pre-trials and shit like that, but like he's connected to the case. But
and then also they bombed Gaza right after the Venezuela invasion.
Yep, and then last night they bombed Lebanon. Like, they protest, bomb somebody. Y'all don't talk about that, and then y'all not gonna talk about it. Y'all so used to us bombing Lebanon. Like, that is insane, bro. We are so used. The world is so desensitized to Israel's bullshit. Like, they can bomb an entire country, Kyle. Kill innocent people, Kyle. Everybody's like, yeah, that's Israel, man. That's my fucking dumbass, stupid friend. I mean, he ain't our friend, but we can't get rid of him. So, like, because if we try to get rid of him, he'll come to our house and kill us. Yeah. And everybody knows it. So we have to keep him around. Like, what? For real? Y'all want to call the police? Nah, bro. Police scary. He'll kill them too.
Oh, you also got to remember the police were trained by his troops too.
Yeah. And there's that. So like they came and like they wouldn't even see it coming because he trained them. Yeah. What? Right. Shouldn't y'all work together to get rid of this man? No, man, that's our best friend.
Yeah.
That's our best friend. What you talking about? I never said that we had a problem with him. I'm just saying we couldn't do anything we wanted to. That's our best friend, man.
Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah,
blink twice. No, I'm blinking 3 times. I don't want it to be misconstrued. I'm blinking 3 times. Blinking twice. I don't have any problem with him. He's our best friend. Okay, man. But you say he'll kill everybody if you call him out. Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. One other thing I really wanted to hit on with you was this kind of like I call it like Lincoln chair politics, where people are like, "Oh, this was so badass." Yeah, you literally watched them bomb fucking civilians from the comfort of your home, and you're beating your chest over this, saying, "I got like a high outfit." Like, dude, I guarantee you probably watch your wife get railed out multiple times if this gets you excited, bro. Like, come on,
cuck energy, bro.
Like, I'm sorry, yeah. Like, the things that excite me are spending time with my family, going out and playing shows with the band, fixing something on a car that was very difficult. That's what excites me. You know what doesn't excite me? Dropping bombs on people. That doesn't excite me. Actually, you know what? I'm against that. And you know, it'd be JD Vance had an attack on his personal home, right? And I said in a comment, I'm like, wow, so sorry that happened. It'd be a real shame if someone bombed the city around you, killed some civilians, and then stole you at night. You and your wife.
Right?
Yeah.
Imagine.
That would be awful. Yeah. And then everybody's replying to me, "Oh, you're a commie sympathizer."
What?
I've never said, like,
I'm just saying, like, imagine that shit happened to you. What? You sympathize with communists? Huh?
Yeah.
But is he not seeking sympathy for this very like somebody attacked his homie? He's wanting sympathy. So I'm like, yeah, imagine if all this shit and your home being attacked happened. You fucking commie.
Right, yeah. Like in JD Vance's neighborhood, imagine they fucking dropped a bomb on his build or on an apartment building 2 blocks away and then stole him and his wife. Like, bro, I think we would all be like, yeah, that's kind of fucked up, man.
If a foreign power did that, I would still be pissed.
Right.
Because the reality of the situation is, it is not true. I don't like Trump. Fuck that, man. And fuck JD Vance.
Absolutely.
But it is not their job to remove my president.
Exactly.
At the end of the day. That's just the facts. We hate him that much. We got to do something about it. That is our job. That is the definition of sovereignty.
Right. And they keep talking about liberating the people of Venezuela. That's the people of Venezuela's problem. That is not the American taxpayers' problem.
Exactly.
If the people of Venezuela want to be liberated, and it's not even entirely clear that they had a problem with Maduro in the first place, then that's on them. Let them figure that out.
Bro, relief does not equal consent. Right. There might be somebody in Venezuela who might be relieved that, because maybe they had because, you know, politics is so diverse in the way somebody perceives a politician can move from person to person. So there could be people relieved that he's not in power, but they'll see Rodriguez is, right? Does that relief equal consent to invade and kidnap the president of that country? No. That is fucking and to believe that it does is absolute insanity. Yeah. Like if Trump was no longer in power, I would feel some sense of relief, Kyle, at this moment. Jesus Christ.
Yes.
If China came and took him out, even if Israel took him out, I would have to fucking bite my goddamn lip, suck it up, and do a shitload of fucking videos like I had to do about Charlie Kirk, basically, I guess. Because you don't get to take my fucking president out. That's not your goddamn job. Because it's probably because he was going to do one thing right, and y'all were like, nah.
Can't have that. Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
And now I gotta be the dumbass, gotta embarrass myself, trying to not defend Trump, but call y'all out. And I'm gonna do it. Why? Because it's not your fucking job to take out my president. If I want my president gone, we'll handle the shit. It's quick math, bro. It's and I want to bring up that, if you don't mind, real quick. I want to talk about that thing you made about the bombs, bro. I 100% agree with you. You know, you were talking about spending time with your daughter. When you are a father. I can't believe that some of these fuckers, bro, they have kids, bro. There's so many of these motherfuckers that have kids. Mm-hmm. And I be thinking, how do you have... I probably became, Candace, for example. Candace had kids, and Candace today is not the Candace from the day before she had her first kid. Correct. 100%. And there's a reason for that. Because she is... Clearly, I've always said that Candace is a human who's been misguided and has probably been traumatized to such a degree that, that kind of put her on a path that wasn't the best for her, even though it ultimately worked out. But because she had that kid, it changed something in her. And she admitted that was it. And I'm telling you as a father, there were so many things that I could just read and I would still be impacted by it. I would still feel and sympathize for those people or empathize for those people. But after I had my first kid, dog, I'd be on the verge. I have to pick myself up every single day after reading the goddamn timeline. After reading basic, random news headlines.
Well, yeah, okay, so tell me if you had this experience, because I know I definitely did. After you had your first kid, were you ever watching TV and something happened with a kid and it just hit completely different?
Oh, tears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, no. Bro, I bullshit you not. Me and my assistant producer for Hotspot, just crazy. The same day, bro. We were like, I can't do shit today, bro. I can't do this. Because we were consuming so much of the shit happening in Gaza. Watching, you remember back at that point, they were showing so many videos of these kids getting their limb blown off, or kids who are now orphaned, 2 kids walking around because they don't know where the fuck their parents are at because their parents died or are trapped under a building, or worse, they just have no idea what's going on because no way to figure it out. Bro, tears. I didn't even remember. I didn't even see it when it was happening. It just started. I'm like, oh shit, and I couldn't stop. I'm like, because I'm trying to imagine being a parent in the middle of a fucking genocide. Because your whole job as a parent is to provide and make your kid feel like they are safe. There is no
100%.
way you can do that. You cannot achieve that goal if you are a parent in Gaza, my guy. Like, there's no way to do that. And as a parent, unfortunately, for every single one of those parents feel like they're failing their kids.
Right. And it's not their fault.
And it's not their fault.
There's nothing they can do either. They had a government foisted on them. And it's so funny because people always bring up Hamas, right? Hamas is they're this evil death cult, right? Okay, well, who propped up Hamas?
Yep. If you want to go,
right there.
Talk about it, right?
Israel.
Like, terrorists in general, right? Yeah. Who propped them up 9 times out of 10. Mm-hmm. Actually, terrorism was created by Israel in the United States. Like, literally. Like, radical Islam was created. There's like I want to say it was the University of Indiana, if I'm not mistaken. There was, they have a Pakistan campus. They had one. Yeah. That's where terrorism was actually originated. Radical Islam was actually originated. They taught them that shit there. I bullshit you not. And if you know how much we've invented in Pakistan in the past, like, that makes perfect sense actually when you think about it. So I do want to go ahead and get us on up out of here really quick, Kyle. So I put everything in the description. Y'all make sure to go follow Kyle, subscribe to him on his YouTube channel. He does great work. He does some great interviews. Anything else you got going on, man, before we get up out of here?
New Common Crown music coming soon. So if you're into like alternative metal music, I think you'll really like that. We got a new song coming out definitely very soon. I think we're waiting on the master, so it should be out within a month or so. But there's that. Of course, the In Liberty and Health podcast, I usually try to do every Sunday, sometimes on Wednesdays as well. I've been focused on a lot on like U.S.-China relations because that seems to be like an underfocused area as of late. And of course, Venezuela and kind of like all the new Trump administration foreign policy stuff. That's typically kind of what I focus on. I do a show on Monday night with a couple other guys, 5 till midnight. We talk about political stuff as well and just kind of have fun with it. And I write on Substack under the Great Megalodon, where I just talk about music stuff, a little bit more lighthearted than the stuff we talk about. But and of course, Komatovik on Twitter. Last name is spelled Matovcik. It's not always easy. And other than that, no, man, always a pleasure to talk to you, Niko. I really, really enjoy this.
Oh, same here, man. Like I said, y'all go follow him and subscribe to him, because one thing I love about Kyle, brother, like I said, my man's a conservative, and despite that fact, what y'all experienced in this conversation, like we come to a lot of the time, we come to the same conclusion, even if we took different routes to get there. And the one thing that we both agree on is people's right to, live, to exist. Like, we believe in humanity. Absolutely. And we believe that no one should be able to infringe on that. Like, at the end of the day, if we both agree on that, there's not really any conversation that we can't have. Not any productive conversation anyway. So 100%. Thank you, man. I appreciate you. Y'all make sure y'all like this video. Make sure you subscribe. Y'all make sure to go follow me on Twitter. Also, go check out that hotspot video that I just dropped on X and on YouTube as well. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, always remember, more than anything else, find your balance. Peace.